Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, when you hear thistle, be honest, you probably picture something thorny, maybe prickly, popping up where you don't want in the garden, right?
Sure.
Not exactly, a medical miracle. But today, we're going to completely flip that idea. We're diving deep into milk thistle. It's a plant that's been, well, quietly respected for centuries, not just folklore, but a real health asset.
Yeah, and what's really striking, looking at our sources, is how milk thistle goes way beyond its sort of popular image as just a liver plant.
Wow.
I mean, yes, the liver benefits are huge, absolutely. But the research shows it's much more versatile, it's a strong anti-inflammatory, it stimulates the immune system, and it's a really potent antioxidant,
Yeah.
which suggests, its potential is enormous. It could possibly touch on nearly every chronic condition we face.
We've really gathered quite a bit of information for you today. We'll go from this almost mystical story about how it got its name, really quite a touching story, actually, involving a mother and child, right through to the modern science behind its active ingredients. So our mission in this deep dive, to pull out the most vital bits of info, how milk thistle actually works, the practical ways you might use it, and what it really could mean for your health. Let's kick off with our origin story then. Why milk thistle? I found this part quite fascinating. Legend says that drops of the Virgin Mary's milk fell onto the plant's leaves, and that's what gave it those distinct green-white marbled veins. It's a really beautiful story, isn't it? Especially for a plant with such, well, powerful healing abilities.
It really is. A beautiful story for a botanically interesting plant. Scientifically, its name is Silybum marianum. It's in the Jay-Z family, so it's related to things like dandelions, sunflowers, plants we know well. But here's a key point our sources really stress. The legend might focus on the leaves, but the medicine, that comes almost entirely from the seeds. We see mentions of it for liver issues way back in the 18th century. Then in the 19th century, reports include its use for the gallbladder and spleen, too.
Okay, so the seeds are the key, and inside those seeds, there's one main player everyone talks about, silymarin. Can you break that down for us? What exactly is silymarin?
Absolutely. So silymarin, it's not just one single thing. Think of it more like a complex, a mix of beneficial plant compounds called flavonoids. Within that mix, the most active, the most studied component is called silybin. Now, silybin itself is actually made of two parts, silybin A and silybin B. And there are others in the mix too, like silicristin and silidinin. But what really grabs your attention, what shows its sheer power, is silybin's ability to protect the liver from the toxins of the death cap mushroom, Amanita phalloides. That mushroom is, well, it's responsible for the vast majority of fatal mushroom poisonings globally.
Hold on. You're saying it can actually fight off poison from the death cap mushroom.
Yeah.
That sounds almost unbelievable. How did that work in practice?
It is pretty astonishing, isn't it? In actual poisoning cases with the death cap, silybin is often given intravenously, in high doses. It literally saves lives. The reality is, without milk thistle's compounds, many more people would die from these poisonings. So, yeah, we're talking about a plant compound that can be the difference between life and death. That's the kind of protective power we're looking at here.
Wow. That definitely puts it into perspective. Okay, but if all this power is locked in the seeds, how do we actually, get it effectively? Is making a simple cup of tea going to cut it?
That's a really important practical point. These flavonoids, like silymarin, they don't hang around in the body for very long, so you need regular intake. Now, they are mostly heat stable, which is good, but silymarin itself doesn't dissolve well in water. It's poorly water soluble. What that means is a milk thistle tea. While it might be nice, maybe help a bit with digestion, it's generally not enough for that deep liver repair, those really strong therapeutic effects we're talking about. For the full benefits, our sources really point towards high-dose, ready-made preparations, often standardized so you know how much silymarin you're getting. Since it dissolves better in alcohol, tinctures are another decent option. Or even finely ground seeds mixed with water, though the absorption might not be as good as a proper extract.
Okay, let's unpack the core actions then. You said it's a powerful antioxidant. What does that actually mean for our bodies, fundamentally?
Right, it's fundamental. Being an antioxidant means it actively goes after and neutralizes free radicals. These are unstable molecules, kind of like little troublemakers generated by normal metabolism, pollution, stress. They cause oxidative stress, which is like internal rusting. It damages cells, contributes to aging, and underlies so many chronic diseases. But milk thistle does more. What's really impressive is it stimulates your body's own antioxidant defenses. Specifically, it significantly boosts levels of glutathione. Glutathione is often called the master antioxidant. It's probably one of our body's most critical protectors against cell damage.
So it's not just providing defense itself, it's actually boosting our internal defense squad. That's quite something. How does that tie into the liver and detoxification?
Exactly. It empowers your body's own systems, and for the liver, that's vital. Your liver is the main detox hub. Milk thistle activates both phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification pathways. Think of it like a two-step cleaning process. Phase I breaks down big toxins into smaller bits. Sometimes these bits are even more reactive temporarily. Then phase 2 grabs those pieces, packages them up, makes them water soluble so they can be safely kicked out of the body, usually via bile or urine. Milk thistle supports both stages. It's anti-hepatotoxic, neutralizes liver poisons directly, and hepatoprotective shields liver cells from harm. It even encourages the liver to repair itself, to grow healthy new cells. It helps stabilize the cell membranes, making it harder for toxins to get in. Plus, it improves blood flow through the portal vein, which can help with things like bloating.
That really paints a picture of a complete liver support system, like a shield and a repair crew all in one. But what really jumped out at me from the sources was how these benefits seem to spread out way beyond the liver. What are some of the other, maybe more surprising areas it helps?
It is quite remarkable how wide the net is cast. Let's touch on a few key ones. First, your gallbladder and digestion. Milk thistle is known as a cholagogue, which basically means it gets bile moving. It does this two ways. It's choleretic, meaning it tells the liver to produce more bile, and it's cholikinetic, stimulating the gallbladder to release the bile it's storing. Better bile flow equals better digestion, especially for fats. And you can boost this effect by combining it with other cholagogues, like, say, turmeric. And here's a really important point for many people. Even if you've had your gallbladder removed, milk thistle still helps. It supports the liver's bile production directly, easing the load on your system.
That's a great clarification. What about the gut more broadly?
Yeah, moving down the line, milk thistle is actually an ingredient in some well-known gut remedies, like iberogast, which is used for things like irritable stomach and bowel issues. That's likely due to its antispasmodic, meaning it reduces cramps and general tonic effects. Studies have shown it can really help with those symptoms. It also has antifungal properties. It shows activity against Candida albicans, which is a common yeast overgrowth issue. And then getting quite specific, there's research suggesting it might inhibit colon cancer cell growth and spread. And interestingly, that effect might be stronger when used alongside curcumin, the active compound in turmeric.
Wow. Okay, beyond the digestive system, I was really intrigued by the information on cancer support.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about its role there, particularly skin, prostate, breast cancer?
Yeah, that's a significant area of research. For skin cancer, studies going back to the early 2000s suggested milk thistle could be useful for both prevention and treatment. It seems to reduce oxidative stress in the skin and slow down cancer cell division. In 2005, researchers even suggested it might boost the protection you get from regular sunscreen. Then for prostate cancer, silymarin seems promising for inhibiting the growth of prostate cancer cells. It also looks like it might support conventional treatments, perhaps by reducing some of the liver stress that chemotherapy can cause. Now, breast cancer. This is one where you see some conflicting stuff online, sometimes warnings about hormonal effects. Our sources look into this pretty carefully. What's key is that a 2011 study actually found Silybum could stop breast cancer cells from spreading, from metastasizing. Yes, there was one animal study that showed a slight increase in cancer growth, and this is critical, it was at an incredibly high dose, like 0.3% of body weight. For an average person, that's nearly 200 grams. Nobody takes that much. Typical supplement doses are around 400 milligrams. Meanwhile, numerous other studies, summed up in a big 2016 review, consistently show positive anti-cancer effects at these much lower standard doses. So the overall conclusion from the science seems to be that at normal doses, milk thistle is much more likely to inhibit cancer than promote it.
That's a really important distinction to make, especially with all the noise online. It also sounds like it plays a big role in supporting people through conventional cancer treatments.
Exactly. It acts protectively. For example, it can lower the liver inflammation that chemotherapy often causes. A 2010 study showed this in children getting chemo for leukemia. And the amazing result was doctors didn't need to cut back on the chemo doses as often, which, could directly improve how well the treatment worked. Another really striking finding, a 2011 study used a cream containing milk thistle extract called Leviaderm on breast cancer patients undergoing radiation. It massively reduced skin damage. Only 10% got grade 2 skin reactions compared to over 50% in the group without the cream. And almost nobody got the severe grade 3 damage. It's also been shown to help people tolerate medications for tuberculosis better.
Incredible. Okay, so beyond these specific conditions, what about just general systemic health, like cardiovascular health or maybe diabetes support?
Yes, the benefits ripple out there too. For vessel health, milk thistle seems to lower levels of something called ADMA. asymmetric dimethylarginine. Now, too much ADMA is bad news for blood vessels. It makes them stiffer, less healthy. This is a particular issue for people with diabetes. By lowering ADMA, milk thistle helps keep vessels healthier. And specifically in type 2 diabetes, studies show it improves antioxidant status and brings down inflammation markers. There was a solid review in 2011 looking at 9 different studies that confirmed it can help improve blood sugar control.
And what about the immune system? That's always crucial.
Absolutely. It seems to give the immune system a nudge, strengthening defenses. It does this partly by increasing levels of key immune messengers, things like interferon gamma, that's a big signal for fighting viruses and tumors, and also interleukin 4 and interleukin 10, which are important for keeping inflammation in check, sort of calming things down when needed.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground here, from legend to, well, literally life-saving compounds. So for you listening now, taking in all this amazing info, what do you need to know if you're thinking about trying milk thistle? How do we actually use it effectively and safely?
Right, the practical stuff. As we kind of touched on, the tea is fine for maybe mild digestion, but for the serious work, especially liver support, you're looking at ready-made preparations. Standardize one so you know the silymarin dose. And when you're choosing a supplement, you really need to be careful about quality. Look at the label. So many products are full of unnecessary fillers, magnesium stearate, titanium dioxide, artificial binders, even weird colorings. You want something pure. Ideally, just the extract and the capsule material, preferably plant-based. Dosage-wise, the effective daily range for silymarin is generally around 200 to 400 milligrams. To keep levels steady, it's often best to take it a few times a day. Or if you take it just once, evening might be good, maybe 5 or 10 minutes before your meal, because the liver does a lot of its repair work overnight.
That's helpful. Are there more specific dosages recommended in our sources for particular issues? It's usually not just one dose fits all, is it?
No, definitely not. It's quite adaptable. The sources give some examples, like for acute liver damage from toxins, maybe 800 milligrams of silymarin a day, split into 3 or 4 doses. For just a few weeks, maybe 2 to 5. For longer-term support, it might be lower, say 70 milligrams 3 times a day for up to a year. Acute viral hepatitis, up to 800 milligrams daily for about 3 weeks. Chronic liver conditions, it's a wider range, maybe 160 up to 800 milligrams daily, potentially for up to 2 years. Type 2 diabetes, studies use 200 to 230 milligrams 1 to 3 times a day for periods from 4 weeks up to a year. And even in children, for certain poisonings always under medical supervision, of course, doses like 80 to 320 milligrams of silybum daily for 4 weeks have been used. So yeah, it shows it's not just a quick fix, but a tool you can adapt for both short-term hits and long-term support.
It really sounds like a fantastic, versatile plant.
Right.
But it's still just one piece of the puzzle, right? We can't just pop a milk thistle pill and expect miracles for complex health problems.
Oh, absolutely not. That's crucial. Healing, especially something like a damaged liver or really boosting overall health, it takes time. It needs a whole picture approach. Milk thistle is a vital player, especially in any kind of liver cleanse or detox program, but it works best alongside other supportive measures. That means thinking about diet, less processed stuff, healthier fats and sugars, maybe eating fruit on an empty stomach. Some people find a weekly fasting day helpful, maybe with just carrot or beet juice. And of course, cutting out things that harm the liver, like alcohol or unnecessary drugs wherever possible. A healthy gut is also key because if your gut's struggling, that puts more load on the liver. Even simple things like applying a warm compress, maybe with yarrow, over the liver area can help stimulate circulation there. It's about creating the right conditions for healing.
Okay, before anyone rushes out to try it, what are the really important warnings, the precautions, the contraindications people absolutely must know about?
Yes, safety first, always. Side effects are pretty rare, thankfully. Usually just mild things like a headache or slight stomach upset, and mostly only at very high doses. Allergic reactions are even rarer, but they can happen. Now, because it affects liver enzymes, remember phase 1 and 2, it can change how some medications are handled by the body. It might speed them up or slow them down. So it is absolutely essential to talk to your doctor or your naturopath or pharmacist if you are taking any other medications at all. Especially important if you're on medication for diabetes to lower blood sugar, because milk thistle can lower it further. You need careful monitoring. And there are definite contraindications. If you have blocked bile ducts, active gallstones causing problems, or current gallbladder inflammation, you should avoid it. For pregnancy and breastfeeding, historically it was actually used to increase milk supply. And some literature suggests it's safe. But the official advice today is still caution, just because there isn't enough modern safety data. So best to consult a healthcare professional in those cases too.
Right. So we've really gone on quite a journey today. From that lovely old legend about mother's milk all the way to these potent compounds that can shield our liver from deadly poisons, help our digestion, show promise in cancer support, ease the side effects of tough medical treatments, and even boost our immune system and heart health. This deep dive really has uncovered milk thistle as a plant with truly extraordinary capabilities.
It really has. And, if you step back and think about the bigger wide-ranging health benefits, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other ordinary-looking plants out there, maybe right in our own neighborhoods, are holding similar incredible potential? Secrets just waiting for us to understand them better, to unlock them for our own health and well-being.
That is a powerful thought to finish on. We really hope this deep dive has given you a valuable shortcut to understanding milk thistle better, and maybe, just maybe, sparked a little more curiosity about the amazing natural world all around us.
Thanks for walking this path with me today. If this episode resonated with you, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay connected. Until next time, take care of yourself. And keep moving forward, one conscious choice at a time.